he's one of the best college linebackers I've ever seen play the game. But arguably, he's one of the biggest jerks that's ever played the game.
The crowd is chanting a little melody toward Brian Bosworth.
Oh, he's clipping.
In Miami, I think I own the Guinness Book of World Records for people hating one guy at one time. So many 70,000 people screaming my name and calling me names I never heard before.
One of the things that drives ratings, drives money, a villain. You gotta have a villain.
He started becoming somebody that I didn't recognize. The lines were becoming blurred, I think, even to Brian.
This thing had turned kind of crazy.
Oh, this is a good picture.
Well,
you're looking over the fair.
Yeah, this is like what I'm talking about. I mean, this is how out of control it got.
That's awesome.
See, you see awesome, and I see lost. Instead of being part of a football team, I'm up here trying to be a deity. I mean, it's very easy to lose touch of reality when you got that many people just kind of thinking that you're more than you really are. Just a football player.
Our next guest is a former NFL linebacker and standout All-American at Oklahoma, as you saw. He is also a veteran in Hollywood, so to speak, acting in films such as The Longest Yard, Three Kings, and his 30 for 30 documentary, Brian and the Boz, will be airing next Tuesday. We are very honored to have you here at the desk. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Good to see you.
All right.
Once upon a time, Kerry, I interviewed this man in 1985 at the University of Oklahoma.
How'd that go?
When he was the Boz.
When he was the Boz. How'd that go?
I loved it.
How'd that go? You remember this man?
I remember him well. I don't remember the interview. I'm probably sure I said some things I probably shouldn't have said. Should have been more
That's why I wrote
correct.
it.
Let's talk about this 30 for 30. What can we expect?
I think you're going to be surprised that, I think there's a lot of misconception of what people think they know who the Boz is. I didn't know who the Boz was because it was a constant transformation. The interesting thing for me, because I just saw it yesterday, was I got a chance to see who Brian used to be, and I lost that. And the innocence and the humility of just a young man who was passionate about playing football and fulfilling a dream. Somewhere along the lines, the Boz took over. The success, the train of Oklahoma football and the notoriety and the media, it left the station, and I was the conductor. And, I ended up taking us into a crash, and it was a long, hard journey to watch it, but it was something that I'm glad that I did because I had to confront some of the things in my past that I had put in the attic, and I put them in the attic for a reason. If I was proud of them, I'd have put them on a mantle. But I wanted them in the attic because I didn't want to deal with it, but that was the way I was raised.
When you say you put them in the attic, Brian, is it a situation where once you had to confront that, you sort of felt like there were people that you needed to reach out to? Did you ever reach a point where you felt like there was apologies that needed to be made, a level of contrition that needed to be shown, or anything like that where you think you hurt somebody more than even you may have hurt yourself?
Well, I think I needed to go back to the beginning. I need to understand, and through the process, I had to really ask, cloudy then, clear now. Once I got to the end, I understood what was going on. I was asking myself 3 questions. I had to answer the 3 questions. Where am I from? What made me why I am and who I am? And that really comes from my relationship with my father. And that's something that I'm trying to work with my family. Transparency, communication, honesty is the key ingredient to having a great family life. We didn't have any of those things. Love was never a word. It was never a word that was ever mentioned. Hugging. I appreciate you. Great job. I love you for just who you are. None of that was part of my growing up. So I needed to deal with that with my father. Unfortunately, that was like talking to the brick wall. And then he passed away in 2009 with a lot of unresolved issues. And that started this therapy campaign. A movie came into my presence that I wasn't really looking to do that changed my life. It was Revelation Road. Agent called me and said, I got a great movie for you. You need to read it. I said, I'm not doing it. I don't want to do movies anymore. And he said, just read the script. I think you're going to like it. But I got to warn you, it's a Christian movie. Great. No one's going to watch this thing. Read the script, got through about 15 pages of it, called him back and said, hey, look, this isn't the movie. This is not a Christian movie. He goes, no, read that. I read it, and that was the first time I ever looked at a words on a page and then looked in the mirror and said, I'm lost and I need to find out where I'm at. Second question, where am I at? So I had to resolve those questions before I could finally come to the conclusion of the third question, where am I going and how am I going to get there?
So, Brian, you look back at, and I want our younger viewers to appreciate the fact, you were as famous and infamous a character who ever came down the pike during one college football season. For those who are too young to remember, you captivated national headlines and media attention, pre-social media, obviously, in ways that I can't remember anybody else quite captivating the college football community. Yet, to me, I think you're saying the Boz was a fraud. And for those who don't remember, you failed quickly as a very high draft choice in pro football. Is that accurate, that you think that guy was a fraud?
I think you have to define who the Boz was. There's two kind of versions of the Boz. When I put my helmet on and I went on the field and I did my business, that was the Boz. That was Boz. You know, Brian Bosworth.
That was Brian.
Well, Brian was the student and the guy that was working out, practicing and that whole thing. Put the helmet on, I became Boz. The media put the Boz on it, and then that became a character. That character then had to create different things to, be part of an entertainment facilitation deal. That was where I got lost. Felt like I always had to be on.